why is there a permanent no-fly zone over the exact center of Antarctica? Governments claim it's due to magnetic interference, but leaked thermal imaging from 2024 reveals something else. 2 miles beneath the ice of Lake Vostok, there isn't just water, there is heat. There is a structure, and it is generating a signal that is directed not at us, but at the moon. This is the file that got the Antarctic Treaty signed in 1959. They didn't ban the military to protect the penguins. They banned them to keep the lid on the cage. Part 1. The Drill. Location: Vostok Research Station, Antarctica. Date: November 14, 2024. The Perpetual Day. Dr. Elias Vance was tired of the white. For 3 months, all he had seen was the blinding white of the ice sheet and the sterile gray of the Russian research module. As the lead glaciologist for the International Climate Coalition, his job was to drill core samples from Lake Vostok, a subglacial lake that had been sealed off from the world for 15 million years. Or so they thought. Depth at 3,400 meters, the drill operator Nikolai announced over the comms. His voice was tense. Dr. Vance, the resistance is increasing. We're hitting something hard. It's not bedrock. Elias looked at the monitors. The sonar reading was impossible. Bedrock is jagged, random. The layer they were hitting was perfectly flat, smooth, and it was vibrating. Pull back, Elias ordered. We might damage the head. Too late, Nikolai shouted. It's pulling us in. The entire research station groaned. The massive titanium drill shaft, miles long, wasn't just drilling anymore. It was being dragged down. The floor tilted. Alarms screamed. Cut the line! Elias yelled, smashing the emergency release. The cable snapped with the sound of a cannon shot. Silence returned to the module. But on the main screen, the camera on the tip of the lost drill was still transmitting. It wasn't showing ice. It was showing a golden metallic roof, and the drill had punched a hole right through it. Part 2. The Drop. 3 hours later. The station was swarming, not with scientists, but with men in unmarked white parkas holding assault rifles. The Majestic group had arrived. They didn't come from the coast. They came from a stealth carrier hovering silently above the clouds. Dr. Vance, a woman with ice-blue eyes and a sharp suit, stepped into the command center. She didn't look cold. I am Director Holloway. You've breached the containment lid. Now you have to fix it. Fix what? Elias stammered. We found a metal structure 2 miles down. That's archaeology, not containment. That isn't archaeology, Doctor. That's a prison. And you just let the air in. They forced Elias into a pressurized descent pod, a small coffin-like submarine designed to go down the borehole. His mission? Guide a remote drone to seal the breach, but Holloway insisted he go down personally to assess the biological threat. As the pod descended through miles of blue ice, the temperature outside began to rise. At 2,000 meters, it was freezing. At 3,500 meters, it was warm. Then the pod broke through the golden roof. Elias gasped. He wasn't underwater. The area beneath the ice was a massive air pocket, kept warm by geothermal vents, and stretching out before him was not a dark cave, but a city. A city of black glass and bioluminescent spires, glowing with a soft green light. It was silent, preserved, and terrifyingly advanced. Part 3. The Library of Ice. The pod touched down on what looked like a plaza. The air was breathable, but tasted metallic. Elias stepped out, his Geiger counter clicking rhythmically. He walked toward the nearest structure. It wasn't built for humans. The doors were 12 feet high. The architecture was organic, like grown crystal. In the center of the plaza stood a monolith, similar to the ones found in other dossiers, but this one was active. It projected a hologram into the air.
Elias approached it. The hologram wasn't a map, it was a calendar. It showed the Earth, then it showed the ice caps melting, then it showed a date, 2025. "It's not a prison," Elias whispered to his recorder. "It's a bunker. Whoever built this, they didn't die out. They went to sleep to wait out the catastrophe." He found rows of stasis pods lining the walls of the Great Hall. Inside them were tall humanoid figures, pale as the ice above, their eyes closed. They weren't aliens. Their DNA markers on his scanner showed a 99% match to humans. They were the Pre-Adamites, the civilization that existed before the last ice age. And the drill breaching the roof had triggered their wake-up cycle. Part 4. The Awakening. "Dr. Vance," Holloway's voice crackled in his earpiece, "plant the charges and ascend immediately." "Charges?" Elias stopped. "You're not sealing the breach. You're destroying the evidence." "We cannot let them wake up, Elias. They are not our ancestors. They are our owners. Plant the nuke." Elias looked at the sleeping figures. Thousands of them. If they woke up, humanity would realize we were just squatters on their planet. But if he detonated the nuke, he would destroy history. Suddenly, the pod nearest to him hissed. The frost on the glass melted. A hand pressed against the inside of the glass. It had 6 fingers. The eyes of the entity opened. They were entirely black, filled with a void-like intelligence. It looked at Elias, not with anger, but with recognition. Telepathic static filled Elias's mind. The cycle is complete. The ground shook. The entities were waking up. Not one, all of them. "Elias! Holloway!" Elias screamed into the comms. "They are awake! The nuke won't stop them!" "Then you are expendable," Holloway replied. The line went dead. A countdown timer started on the display of the bomb attached to his descent pod. 05, 059. Part 5. The Ascent. Elias had 5 minutes to escape a nuclear blast 2 miles beneath the Earth. He scrambled back to his pod, but the entities were emerging. They didn't attack. They simply watched him, their tall forms casting long shadows in the green light. The leader raised a hand, and the heavy blast doors of the city began to close, shielding themselves from the explosion. They weren't worried about the bomb. They had survived asteroids. A nuke was nothing. Elias slammed the launch sequence. The pod shot upward through the borehole like a bullet. Below him, the nuke detonated. The explosion didn't destroy the city. The city's shields absorbed it. But the force collapsed the ice tunnel. Elias's pod was thrown upward by the shockwave, crashing through the surface of Lake Vostok and shooting into the Antarctic sky. He crash-landed in the snow, miles from the research station. Part 6. The Burn Notice. Elias lay in the snow, bleeding, watching the smoke rise from the drill site. The Majestic Group's carrier was gone. They thought he was dead. They thought the city was destroyed. But as Elias looked down at his Geiger counter, he saw it wasn't detecting radiation anymore. It was detecting a transmission. The signal from the city was louder now. It was broadcasting on every frequency. He looked up at the moon. It looked normal to the naked eye, but through his thermal visor, he saw it. A beam of green light was shooting from the ice straight to the lunar surface, and on the dark side of the moon, something was answering back. Epilogue. The Cold Truth. Date: present day. Location: classified CIA black site. The interrogator tossed a file onto the metal table. File number 000. "So," the agent said, "you claim the ice is melting not because of cars, but because they are heating up the planet to make it comfortable for their return." Elias Vance, handcuffed and scarred, laughed. "It doesn't matter what I claim. Look at the weather. Look at the storms. They are terraforming the Earth back to how it was 12,000 years ago. And what happens to us? The agent asked. Elias leaned forward. We were the maintenance crew, and the masters just came home. File number 000, redacted.